hear about oil, the word OPEC isn't far behind. OPEC stands for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. It's a group of 12 nations that have a lot of clout in the energy market because they produce about 1/3 of the world's total oil and export it around the globe. That's about 30 million barrels of oil every single day. It was formed in 1960, the goal to coordinate oil production to ensure that members are pumping enough supply to meet demand. If all 12 countries play by the rules, it can help to regulate and stabilize global oil prices. But there are also plenty of major oil-producing nations that are not part of the OPEC club, including the United States, Canada, Mexico and Russia. And they don't attend OPEC meetings, and as such, they're not bound by the cartel's decisions. And as these nations have increased their production over the past few years, OPEC's influence in the market has plunged. There's now an excess of oil supply which has pushed down prices significantly. The price drop has caused political problems in some OPEC countries that rely on oil sales heavily to fund their governments. Well, OPEC's grip on oil may be getting weaker, but it also means lower prices at pumps around the world.
We started with that today because it helps us explain the news that Qatar, a Middle Eastern country whose economy is heavily dependent on oil and natural gas sales, is pulling out of OPEC. Here's why that's significant. For one thing, it's a setback for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. OPEC currently has 15 members. It'll be down to 14 when Qatar officially leaves on January 1st. And this comes at a time when OPEC is trying to increase its membership. Over the past 2 years, the African countries of Congo and Equatorial Guinea have joined OPEC. One analyst says Qatar's departure will reduce OPEC's oil production to where it was before the 2 new members signed up. There's also an issue of timing. OPEC's members and other major producers of oil are scheduled to meet this week to talk about reducing their production. They want oil prices to be higher. Some experts say Qatar's withdrawal from OPEC probably won't have a major effect on the oil market, but others say it could cause complications within OPEC. But why is Qatar leaving? It's been a member of OPEC for almost 60 years. Last year, several Arab countries, including some other members of OPEC, cut off their trade and diplomatic relationships with Qatar. They said it was because of Qatar's support for terrorist groups. Qatar has denied doing that, but it's also increased its production of natural gas to help its economy. OPEC doesn't oversee natural gas production, and Qatar's a major producer of it. In fact, it's largely because of natural gas production that Qatar has one of the highest per capita income levels in the world. 10-second trivia. Which of these nations is the world's largest consumer of steel? United Arab Emirates, China, United States, or India? When it comes to steel, China is both the world's largest consumer and producer of the metal. That's one of the materials that have been impacted by a trade war between the United States and China, but now the two countries have called a sort of trade truce. On the sidelines of this year's G20 summit in Argentina, we reported on that last Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping met for dinner. Afterward, they said they'd had success in negotiating a stop, at least a temporary one, to the back-and-forth tariffs or taxes that the two countries have placed on imports of one another's goods. Materials worth hundreds of billions of dollars have been subject to additional taxes, and some analysts say this has contributed to a noticeable slowdown in China's economic growth. The tariffs that are currently in place will stay there. What the truce means is that no new ones will be enacted while China and the U.S. take some time to try to iron out their differences. Some ongoing complaints of American businesses are that China has made it difficult for U.S. companies to compete there, and that China has allegedly stolen American intellectual property, copyrighted works, trademarks, patents on creative material. Analysts say the truce will bring China to the bargaining table to discuss these issues. The White House says the goal is to have an agreement within 90 days. Chinese media didn't mention a deadline, but said China's aiming for a concrete deal that's a win-win. On average, the U.S. admits more than 1 million legal immigrants every year. Florence Phillips is the 87-year-old daughter of 2 Jewish parents who fled Europe before the Holocaust. And since she started her nonprofit organization in 2004, she's helped thousands of people from other countries and their families learn English and other aspects of life in America.
I came to U.S. in 2005. When I came here, the first thing that I wanted to do is learn English. How you think? They need more water or no? That was hard for me to take English class because I don't have the transportation and my schedule. I have to go to work. I had to take care of my daughter.
I am the daughter of immigrants from Europe. I saw how they struggled not speaking the language. I spent time in the Peace Corps teaching English. When I came back, I became aware that people living in my own backyard could not speak English.
You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to do some reading.
I started this program to help adult immigrants learn English so they could advance their lives here in America.
His job is to fill boxes with glass. Jimmy does not drop any boxes.
I thought that was pretty good.
I was amazed how large the immigrant population is here in Nevada. But there were no ESL classes that these people could access. They had to pay tuition, purchase books,
Come on in.
and they had to meet the schedule.
We're going to do singular and plural.
I made sure that I would eliminate all the obstacles.
Good. So it goes man.
Man.
Our entire program is free to students. We teach whenever the student is available. We give the students personal attention.
What is the purpose of the judicial branch?
We also offer free classes in U.S. citizenship study so that they can prepare for their exam.
The House of Representatives has how many voting members?
It is a very difficult test. A lot of Americans say they could not pass. To apply costs more than $700. So our program helps to raise money to help these students apply for citizenship.
The day I passed the test, I feel great. My hard work paid off. I want to say thank you to my teachers. They believed in me and told me, you can do it. And I'm believing in myself. Today is the day that I became a U.S. citizen. I feel proud to be American.
We are giving them the key to unlock all doors and the opportunity to have that American dream. I see the pride when they say, I am an American.
There's a new face in space. It's an artificial intelligence robot named Simon, Simon with a C, standing for Crew Interactive Mobile Companion. It costs $6 million to build Simon, and it's designed to help astronauts with their missions and occasionally give them someone to talk to. But Simon has had some glitches, like getting stuck in music mode or thinking an astronaut was being mean when he wasn't. Thankfully, Simon can't take over and get revenge. Now, fans of Arthur C. Clarke might ask, how could they do this? There are 9,000 reasons why intelligence in space should be natural. Thankfully, the ISS robot doesn't control the station. That could cement his status as a dangerous space odyssey. I'm Carl Azouz, happy to be on solid ground, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow.